Hello,
I couldn't figure out how to do it.
hello.
Hi.
How
How
are
are
you?
you?
Very good. So nervous.
Why? We're going to talk about cross stitch. It's awesome. And, you
No,
know,
thank you.
I
I'm
love it.
so happy. I want to, first of all, thank you for accepting this invitation and, to gather with all these teachers who loves you and who admire so much for your designs and all the things that you provide us.
I can't even believe it. Like, I just can't believe it. That
No, it's
it,
amazing. Le estoy dando a Nora primeramente la bienvenida para que nos está aquí acompañando y agradeciéndole que esté entre todos estos bordadores que admiramos su trabajo y que durante tantos años hemos estado unidos por sus diseños. I really, really want to make this interview. First of all, I'm a very selfish person. So for me, because I love your design so much, but I know there are many, many stitchers around the world, and it has been so many years, and there is always a Mirabilia Designs who is with us, who is in our projects, in our whips, work in progress, who is always in our walls, and to finally meet the artist who gave us that opportunity, it's an honor.
well, thank you. I can't believe it. It's crazy to me that I draw something and that my art is hanging on people's walls and so
Yeah,
many people. But I mean, honestly, you know that you're part of the artist because you stitch it. So I can't take all the credit because I don't stitch that well. So you make it happen.
yeah. Le comento a Nora que muchos de nosotros tenemos todos estos años con un gráfico de Mirabilia en nuestras manos, en nuestras bolsas de proyectos, adornando nuestras paredes, y que es una oportunidad maravillosa el estar platicando con la artista que hizo posible estos diseños.
Oh my God, my sister's on here.
Welcome to Nora's sister.
My sister's on here.
And I'm so glad because I don't know if she can see all the people that follow you and follow your design, and I know you're a painter, and you start with this initial craft and artistry, but we, for the other hand, as teachers, are getting all the advantage of your art.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. I, I don't even know what to say. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just completely
Well,
blown away.
I'm not. I will try to keep it calm.
Okay. It's I do it in my quiet little room in the back, and I don't even like, if I thought about how many people were stitching it, I probably would freak out.
Yeah.
And there are all these crazy little ideas that like if someone else gets a feeling from it and they respond to it and then they stitch it, that's like it's amazing to me. And as an artist, it's beautiful and wonderful. And I love the one you did that's right behind your head, where the one that's
Yeah.
that one. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I was watching you do that. I love that one. I love them. I mean, I love it when people change them and make them their own. That's cool.
Sí, nos comenta Nora que pues ella realmente hace estas creaciones, estas pinturas, pero realmente a ella le asombra el que seamos nosotros como bordadores capaces de reproducir estos diseños y ponerlos en nuestras paredes o estarlos bordando. Para ella, nosotros somos los que realmente estamos haciendo este trabajo de representar lo que ella hace como un dibujo, ¿no? Entonces me comenta de la Catrina que le gusta mucho esta conversión que hice, y pues le voy a preguntar qué opina, porque me dejaron esta pregunta, qué opinión le merece las conversiones que hacemos. What is your point of view regarding these conversions that we make, these changes of color, these,
I love it. I love it because you're making it yours, and you're doing, it's like you have such a relationship with it that it becomes yours, and then you're an artist too. I mean, and they each have a little bit of a different personality. You can see the same pattern stitched by a bunch of different people, but they all have like a different personality. Like they're all different and unique. And I think it's beautiful. I want people to feel creative and to make them their own. Yeah, as long as you're not saying you're correcting it, that's fine.
Yeah. Sí, me dice que es algo que ella disfruta mucho porque nos considera también como artistas, y el hecho de bordar un mismo proyecto, diferentes personas, y darle su toque personal es lo que nos distingue. Entonces dice que ella agradece mucho ese cambio que hacemos y esa conversión, siempre cuidando, bueno, no compartir ese gráfico o esa parte de su diseño, pero que es algo que a ella le encanta.
I can't believe this.
Yeah,
I can't believe this. I had no idea.
We're so excited.
I mean, I have a lot of stitchers in Australia, and that is kind of crazy because but I've been going to visit them like every year except for the past 2 years. But yeah, it's this like, it's amazing. And
yeah, and comenta ella que tiene también amigos bordadores de Australia y que ella ha acostumbrado ir a hacer estos encuentros en Australia, no en los últimos 2 años por la cuestión de la pandemia, pero es algo que disfruta mucho. And talking about this situation of COVID and how we didn't have the opportunity to see our friends and do the things that we normally did, having this...
I have a new design that is a lot of my designs that are coming out now are like completely inspired by that. But I have a new one coming out where it's 2 women and they're kind of talking over tea. And it was at that point when I couldn't hang out with my friends. Yeah. So it was kind of like that. Just you don't realize how important it is until it's gone. So yeah, there's a design coming out that's like 2 women like talking over tea, and it's just like, oh.
Sí, de esta situación del COVID y de la pandemia y del encierro, dice que precisamente uno de los diseños que va a lanzar son dos damas, 2 señoras que están platicando con el té y que le vino esa inspiración precisamente porque eran cosas que no podíamos hacer por estar encerrados. Entonces va a ser uno de sus futuros diseños. And we have that advantage or that joy to be as teachers or as you an artist. I have behind me a trunk full of projects, and I stitch, and it's something that help us, that help at our mental health. That
people have said that it helps them, and I didn't understand that. But I like knit a lot, and I realized when my mom died, I just sat and knitted, and I processed it, and then I like, oh, I totally understood.
Yes, that
because I mean, I design cross stitch all day, and at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm gonna knit. But yeah,
that state of mind, that relax.
Yeah, that sort of like just like that zone.
Yeah,
where you're in this like pain or whatever you're going through, but you're also just like doing something, and you can think of, I don't know, it's weird. I don't know how to translate that.
I totally understand, and other teachers around the world and my friends, we totally understand. For example, I have been stitching many years, and after all my hour at the office with my kids and everything, at the moment you sit and start stitching, even though you are really tired or thinking in a million things, you start to get that peace of mind and that, moment, and you start stitching, and, you are creating something beautiful, but at the same time you are, making something good for you.
This is funny. Whenever I'm knitting, I usually knit like in family gatherings because I can hear them. And I'm there, but I don't have to really be there. like it's bad because if I'm ever like I don't kind of zone out and do my own thing, and it makes it easier to get through it.
Le estoy comentando que nosotros como bordadores tenemos esa ventaja con los gráficos que tenemos, con los proyectos que tenemos durante este periodo tan difícil y en muchos momentos de la vida que podemos refugiarnos en el bordado y relajarnos y tener esa paz mental que nos da el bordado. Y decía ella que era algo que ella no entendía, pero que cuando empezó a tejer, que también empezó a relajarse. Entonces dice, ahora comprendo lo que sienten las bordadoras cuando están bordando y bajan esos niveles de estrés y se tranquilizan. So that's great. And yeah, we have been, making virtual groups. You were talking about the retreats, but we are connecting with friends around the world with these, live videos or call-ins, and we just, get together to stitch and to talk. And
I was amazed at how many people became like, the retreat. There was a retreat in, was it Texas? Yeah, and I've seen people like, and then they're friends, like they all connect, and it's like, what do we have in common? It's I don't know, like it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sí, le comento que ahorita durante también este periodo se dio mucho estas reuniones virtuales porque no las podíamos hacer físicas y podíamos reunirnos o nos estamos reuniendo, como en este caso, o con amigos y nos conectamos y bordamos y es ese lazo de amistad que a través del bordado estamos creando. And many of that gathers or reunions, the common thread, it's a Mirabilia design. Because you can start, a chart or a pattern or design, and many, friends start the same design at the same time, and we can be stitching, at the distance with the same project, but it's a Mirabilia who inspire us.
What is it? Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. What is it about the Mirabilias that make them different than the others? I'm sorry. I know you're supposed to interview me, but I just...
No, yeah. Well, we will have to ask, the stitchy friends. But for me, I don't know. I like this classic, aspect, not cartoonish or not.
Okay. So that is exactly what I wanted to do. Yeah. I wanted them to look like they were in an old library in a castle. Yeah. I wanted them to look like real art. And I actually want them to look like tapestries because that, is art, like, and then I wanted to raise it a little bit because I wasn't seeing anything like that at the time when I started 27 years ago. I didn't see anything that I wanted to stitch. So I was like, I'm going to do what I want to stitch. So it's good. The first time okay, you can talk.
Pregunta Nora que me dice, bueno, yo sé que me estás entrevistando, pero yo quiero saber qué es lo que les llama la atención de mis diseños, qué es lo que les gusta de mis diseños. Entonces, le digo que, bueno, tendríamos que preguntarles a todos, pero en mi caso me gusta esa silueta clásica que no es así como un dibujo, como algo, sino es, o sea, al mismo tiempo los sentimientos que nos evoca esa pieza de arte. Y dice que esa es su intención, el crear una pieza de arte como un tapete, como una pieza que se pueda exponer. Y eso, you totally nail it. I mean, we love to be
thank you. I actually like, because sometimes I'll do one and I'm like, if I add too many things to them, like fish, like all these other aspects, I'm like, it's starting to look like a cartoon. Like it doesn't, I want it to look like, I find that I have to make it something that I want to see. If I try to please somebody else, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
If I'm like, trying to be like, what do people want to buy? And it doesn't work.
I was joking at the beginning because I say I will try to translate and read the question, but at the end it's it's a chat between friends, and we are going to talk about cross stitch. And it's very funny how when I'm going to start a project, for example, I sometimes ask, what fabric do you prefer, this or this? Because at the end, I'm going to choose the one that I want. No.
Yeah.
So it's
Definitely that, and it should be, you know, an enjoyable experience. That's why I don't use that much uh, backstitch. Like I really try not to use like a ton. I've seen these patterns that have like so much backstitch, and I'm just like, oh,
yeah.
I try not to. But
A different aesthetic, you know. Me dice Nora bueno, que ella, su intención nuevamente es crear estas piezas de arte, inclusive no con tanto delineado, sino que la misma pieza transmita esa idea de una pieza pintada, ¿no? I'm having here the mermaids that I just finished talking about.
oh my gosh, I love that. I love that you changed their skin tone. I have some really exciting projects that I can't really talk about, but it's about skin tone, and I'm so excited about them. But that looks amazing. You did a really good job with that.
And it's you know, for the start, the fabric, it's different colors, and as you mentioned, trying to change the color of the skin, you know, to see ourselves. We know they are,
Exactly.
you know, magical creatures, but I want to be like a magical creature.
Exactly.
Something with my skin color, and it's so important.
It really is. And I've met someone recently who does the most amazing skin color, Ymir.
Yes.
And she lives near me, and I met her, and her skin colors are amazing.
Yeah.
And she's so amazing. And I just, oh, it was so much fun to talk to her the other day because she's
Yeah.
just young and doing cool stuff. It's great. I love that.
Sí, comenta Nora que sobre el tema de las conversiones y de esta personalización que hacemos, el cambio del color de piel es algo importante para ella, que está empezando a revisarlo y que vienen proyectos futuros que ahorita no nos puede platicar, pero mencionó a Mir de Almond M&M's y cómo,
oh, yeah, Almond M&M's.
Yeah, cómo hace ella, cómo hace ella estas sedas pintadas que tiene colecciones de colores de piel, y entonces, así como lo está platicando Nora, creo que se viene una colaboración a futuro importante. And I love to you know, make my own skin, you know, palette of flosses. And when I'm going to start, you know, a Mirabilia, I like to take my palette of flosses with a darker skin colors to adapt that design. And for this project, I change all the colors, and I use rayon thread. And
you know, change them, like yeah. Change the beads, change. You know, a quilter takes a pattern and then they change all the colors. It's like, yeah. I want, you know, cross stitches. This is just an idea. Sometimes when people change them, they make them like they take it a step further. Like I've already just agonized. Like I draw it 20 million times and I'm like, does this, you know, and so sometimes a fresh eye, you guys can take it just like even further. So sí. It's cool.
Comenta Nora, porque ahorita le mencionaba que yo utilicé hilos diferentes en las sirenas y me dice que eso es dar un paso adelante, o sea, el proyecto, personalizarlo, hacerlo nuestro, inclusive mejorarlo, ¿no? Y es algo que a ella le gusta mucho. And you did this, you know, different skin color with your zodiac ladies. And yes. They are gorgeous, gorgeous. It's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a lot more of that. And yeah. Of course, I was just down in St. Croix with all my friends. Oh. And they're beautiful. And they're
having a lovely time.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I have just a few questions because,
okay.
But I'm reading that some teachers are also asking, what is your inspiration as you know, you start as a painter. How is this process to transform your paintings to cross stitch?
Okay.
Do you think first in one thing or first in the other?
Okay, so inspiration, I can't even I can't even tell you, because every day, like, I mean, I'm thinking about it all the time, but when I go in there, it's just something happens where just it comes from like it just flows. And I don't know, I can't explain it, like, you know, everything around me. What was the other part of the question?
How do you transform to a
Oh, okay.
clothes?
How do I transform? Okay, so I have a process. I've been doing it
Mhm.
27 years. I know what I'm doing. It's like, and it works for me. It does, and but I do it all by hand. I never touch a computer because I just don't like computers. And if I just, I like holding a pencil because I'm an artist, and I know I feel kind of backward, like I should be using a computer, but it just doesn't work for me. And you know, I'm trying to make a piece of art, and that you know, and you're stitching it by hand, and it's all by hand. But yeah, so I do it all by hand, and then I even symbol the colors in by hand, and it can get kind of crazy, but you know, sometimes they come out exactly how I symboled it, you know, because I send them a piece of paper, it's all black and white, and all the different symbols in my handwriting. So sorry, for the person who has to do that. And then when it comes back, sometimes they look exactly how I imagined them.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I,
And sometimes they
I,
don't.
I will ask you further questions about this
Okay.
pattern process, but I will translate.
Okay. Okay.
Me dicen ahora que, bueno, la inspiración le viene pues de muchas áreas de su vida, de muchos sentidos, y en el proceso a transformarlo a gráfico, ella finalmente adora el tener un lápiz en la mano. Ella no utiliza un programa para transformar estas pinturas, estos dibujos que hace a gráficos de punto de cruz. Ella los hace con papel y lápiz, ¿no? Entonces dice, a lo mejor estoy un poco a la antigua, pero es algo que disfruto hacer el gráfico de manera manual de estas pinturas, y entonces ir descubriendo cómo los colores van igualando la pintura que realizó. And it's funny, you know, talking about patterns, which is the final product that we receive as a teacher. You take your pattern. Look, my pattern. I have
Oh yeah. Oh
it.
yeah.
And this was a gift from Australian teacher friend who was in one of your retreats, and you know, got me your autograph, and she sent it to me. And when you start working in your pattern, sometimes well, after a few Mirabilias stitches, you start to understand the accommodation of your design, you know, the forms, and you see that, for example, the waves or the form in the dresses. And
I have to stop you. I feel like you've all been inside my head.
yes.
You know, because I have a certain way of designing, and you know it, you know, like, because you're following, you're like, oh, this is what she's doing.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
why did she pick this color here? That's crazy.
Yeah, but you start to understand. They are asking, how about a Mirabilia Mexicana? Of course, you have to do one.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's funny how you start to, as you say, to be in the head of the artist, and you know, for
Yes. Yeah. And the colors, like, I love the colors. I'm so much into color. I can't even, you know, like, I just love them. Just...
Sí, le comento a Nora que muchas veces, hablando precisamente de esta creación de los gráficos, cuando nosotros como bordadores tenemos el gráfico en nuestras manos, como que después de bordar diseños de Mirabilia empiezas a entender ese acomodo de las formas, el uso de los colores, y dicen, ahora sí, es como si estuvieran en mi cabeza. Entonces ya ustedes me conocen y empiezan a ver lo que yo vi inicialmente. Yeah, and they are asking for a Mexican Mirabilia.
Okay, I'll work on that. It's hard.
Yeah, and talking about your work and you know, your process, I was seeing some videos and reading that the designs that you are, you know, doing right now are going to be available in a couple of years. You are
just 1 year. I mean, it's usually like a year ahead, and that's just the process. I can design them. I can design one in about, Mirabilia is like 2 to 3 weeks. But the
Okay.
Nora Corbetts are smaller, and they take about, but I do them together like a set of 6.
Uh-huh.
And, but yeah, but and sometimes there's a lot of changes on some of them. Some of them not at all, and I'm like, I'm a genius. Sometimes I'm just like, I have to go off. I'm like,
So you have, or your work plan is to get 6 design and fully finish the 6 designs, or it's just one design and then
oh
another?
no, the Nora Corbetts I do 6 at a time, so they're a
Okay.
group, they're a collection,
Okay.
and so they usually all have. I mean, there's one collection I did that didn't have 6. I can't remember, but most of the time the Nora Corbetts will be in a collection of 6.
Okay.
And I'm doing a whole nother, and I'm just always inspired by different patterns and where I've been and what I see. And it's sometimes I look at them and I think, oh, you did that before, but you're doing it differently. Like I just change it. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's funny because, well, let me translate a little bit.
okay, go ahead.
Sí, me dice Nora que, porque le preguntaba precisamente de su creación de estos gráficos, cuánto tiempo, ahorita por ejemplo, los diseños que está haciendo, las pinturas que está haciendo, cuánto tiempo tarda en que llegue a Wichel y que nosotros podamos adquirirlo y que haga el lanzamiento. Dice que es entre un año y medio. Los diseños de Nora Corbett los hace como en series de 6, o sea, diseña 6 y digo, Wichel los va distribuyendo 1 a 1 o 2 a 2 cada mes, pero sí tiene este lapso entre lo que va diseñando y lo que se lanza al mercado. And you don't have any, restriction about your work. You are free to design anything you want, or sometimes, for example,
Yes,
right now we are pressured.
yes, I can do whatever I want.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Oh my God. It is that Witchell, like, I know Witchell, like, people are like complaining and the out of print, but like, I can do whatever I want.
That's
And
amazing.
it's really great. But then I don't tell them what to do with the out of print designs.
Yeah.
Because that's their department. I know, but like they don't tell me what to draw, so it's
Yeah.
kind of,
And that's fantastic because they give you the freedom to do whatever you want, and we have the
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll, and I can't do the same thing again, and sometimes I'm just always trying new things.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, "Oh, why don't you do designs like you used to do?" And it's just like, because I did it, and I like want to do something new all the time. I'm constantly, as an artist, being inspired by different things all the time. Where everything, where I go, what I watch on TV, everything. Like I just, it's so.
Yeah, me comenta Nora que, por ejemplo, el acuerdo, porque Wichel es quien distribuye sus diseños, le comentaba si ellos le piden un tipo específico de diseño, si le piden algo en especial, y dice que no, que ella tiene la libertad total de hacer los diseños que desee, que es algo que como artista ella es lo que más agradece de esta relación comercial, el poder hacer lo que quiera. Y que en ocasiones pues tiene inspiración de todos lados y puede ir haciendo sus diseños y Wichel los distribuye como ella los hace. Dice, yo no me meto en la parte de distribución y ellos no se meten con la parte artística, ¿no? And that's great.
Can I ask a question? What do the stitchers in Mexico, what do they want? What do they like about them? What do they want to see more of?
Yeah, pues nos pregunta Mexican stitcher and Latin American stitchers as well, ¿qué nos gustaría nosotros ver como un diseño? ¿Qué nos gustaría que Nora pudiera pintar y transformar en un gráfico para nosotros? And your paintings behind you.
Yes.
Yeah, they are so
I went to an island, and when I'm like inspired, it just comes. It's like brainless, and it just, like, I was painting the colors, and then I just painted this one, and I've shared a photo and everyone's like, oh my God, we love it, make it a pattern. You know, like that happens all the time. Sometimes it's really hard to translate a painting into cross stitch, but it's all about the face.
Yeah.
And if the face doesn't work, then forget about it.
That's the thing for me. Me dicen ahora que de estas pinturas que tiene a sus espaldas, bueno, que son trabajos que ha hecho y que empieza a hacer la reproducción a los gráficos y que pues toma inspiración de todos lados, ¿no? Y dice que para empezar a hacer el gráfico que lo que más cuidado tienes en las caras. Si una cara no está bien en un gráfico, no funciona. And it's, you know, the face is everything. It's, for me, I have to fall in love with the face to stitch a project.
It's really hard to design a face that looks good in squares. I got to tell you.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many, I'm working on one, I just draw it over and over and over. It's not easy, but when you get it, it's perfect. Yeah. And it has to have a feeling, like sometimes they have to have a feeling to them. And it could be just like a little thing that you do and it changes the whole feeling.
Yeah.
You know, like how she is.
Yeah, I usually talk about this, about how I love your faces and how with so many squares and you know, very fine backstitch, you then after that you have an eye, you have a face, you have a profile, and the designs are so tiny and so perfect in that aspect.
Well, it's hard to make a face look good up close and far away. Yeah. You know, because I know that people scan things and there's 500 colors in them. And,
yeah.
You know.
And talking about the faces, that's why I love botanical so much, because that design gave us the opportunity to see a close-up of those.
Okay, people. So I have to tell you, I've done 2 more like her that are going to come out, but they're different. They're different, but they're like her. So yeah. I finally got to this. I finally figured it out, like, because I've done a lot of faces in my own painting, my own everywhere. If you follow, I have a lot of paintings of faces and women's faces, and getting that one right it's really hard to get a face look good. So she worked, and so now I've changed it, and I have 2 more coming out, and I'm really into them. I'm so into them. I could do them for days. Like right now, I'm really into them.
Yeah. Le comento que, bueno, volvemos al tema de las caras, que cómo nos encanta y nos, por lo menos de manera personal, y yo sé que a muchos bordadores nos enganchan con un proyecto.
Oh my God, Marissa's on there. I'm sorry, my friend Marissa is on here.
Hello, Marissa. ¿Cómo nos enlaza el tener una hermosa cara que bordar, ¿no? Entonces dice que es muy difícil lograr ese diseño. Don't get embarrassed. Lograr ese diseño con tan pocos puntos, o sea, con un poquito de delineado, con 3, 4 cruces, con los colores, pero yo creo que esa es la maestría de Nora, ¿no? Lo que pasa es que no quiero apenarla más. Pero dice que eso es también lo que ella le da mucho trabajo. Y le decía yo que Botanical me gustó tanto porque finalmente tuvimos la oportunidad de tener un close-up de la cara y nos dice que tiene próximamente 2 proyectos a lanzar como Botanical con ese close-up de la cara. Entonces, qué emoción. So exciting.
Oh, now I'm going to get nervous. My friends are watching. No.
Marissa, please. Yeah. We are just talking with Nora. We are a group of stitchers who really like to stitch Nora's design.
And I try to tell them sometimes, like, you guys don't understand. Yeah. I went on, one time someone said it at a retreat, they're like, do people know who you are? And I'm like, no. But I explained it, it's like your favorite writer. If you saw them, you'd be like, oh, my favorite writer. And it's the same kind of thing. It's a niche thing, and so, but it kind of blows my mind all the time.
Dice, comenta Nora, hay una amiga aquí que se conectó, que es amiga personal de Nora, y dice, ya me va a dar pena platicar. Y dice, es que muchas veces la gente o su círculo de amigos no saben o no entienden la dimensión que tiene Nora en nuestros trabajos y en el mundo del bordado. Entonces, dice, me da un poco de pena porque realmente no entienden pues lo que hago, ¿no? And it's funny. It's like we have a double life. For example, I made videos in YouTube, and many of us make videos. Or
I love that.
and
You're doing great. You're beautiful. You're
Oh,
doing great. I love
but,
them. I saw you. I was like, you got it going on. It looks great.
okay.
I love it.
And sometimes we are a little ashamed, you know. We don't share our channel because it's like weird. And I mean, I tell
No,
my
it's
family.
not. It's like it's a passion, and it's a passion for something beautiful. And I know, like, when people ask me at a party, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I design cross-stitch patterns. And my friends will grab them and say, no, 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 you have to see, like, they're really different. So I just, you know, it's an art form, and,
Yeah.
you know, it's not popular with everyone, but, like, it resonates with a lot. And I love it. I love that the little tiny X looks like a little pearl sometimes, you know, and then you just do them all. And I use my floss like it's paint. I mix it, and I'll mix two colors together that don't look like they should be there, or I'll have a color in the shadow that is like purple, and someone who's not a painter won't do that. Like, when you're a painter, you think of different. And so so that's why, like, I love to use the DMC like a palette and mix the colors, because some of them that I want aren't there. But that's why I also love Karen Collection too, because is it really hard to get all of those?
Yeah, really hard. We can talk in a few minutes.
Okay, all right.
Sí, le decía a Nora que, porque ahorita hablando de su amiga que estaba aquí, como a veces no hablamos de esta parte como bordadores. Le digo, yo tengo un canal y pues no es algo así como que anuncie, o nos da un poquito de pena, ¿no? Y me dice, no, ¿por qué? Pero es como esa parte de que no lo compartimos, o creemos que el hecho de bordar no es algo que nos ponga así como decir, pues soy doctor, soy contadora, soy esto, sino es algo como una afición de lado, ¿no? Pero dice ella, no, como que tienen que exhibir lo que son, ¿no? Y me dice que ve mi canal y que le gustan mucho mis videos, lo cual me emocionó mucho.
Oh, no. It's another friend is on here. It's all my friends on here.
Welcome, all Nora's friends.
Why?
She's gorgeous, and she's an amazing artist, and we love her so much.
That's my oldest friends are like on here.
Oh yeah,
and listen to me all the time.
Yeah, and talking a little bit, you know, about the options or some ideas for a Latin American or a Mexican design. I was reading that many of your designs are, you know, ladies or women's or queens. How about a male, you know, person? But I think I was also reading and watching your videos. It's more like a feminist point of view, but at the same time, here in Latin America and in Mexico, we have a strong connection with our family, and perhaps it could be, you know, an idea to make this design family oriented, perhaps not just the man or not just the woman, but a family.
It's funny, when I was having babies, I drew a lot of, I did
little stitches.
It's really reflective of my life. Yeah. And so what I'm interested, you know, at that time, and, you know, I did one male design, you know, and sometimes when I do something that everyone says, you have to do this, and then they don't want it. Oh, I don't know. It's
sometimes we
you know, they
or do whatever we want.
It's really, people have asked for, like, bother me, you know, not bother, but like ask for a certain thing, and then I do it to make them happy. And I don't think that what I've done ever fulfills this magical idea they have in their head. So I just have to learn that I have to do what I like. Because if I start trying to be like, oh, you know, so-and-so says she hates orange, you know, like I in the beginning, someone wrote me a letter and they're like, why do you use so much orange? And I was like, oh my God, I can't use any more orange. Like, this is bad. Yeah. And then you have to realize that's one person. and everyone's so different. That's like there's big dress ladies, there's mermaid people, there's fairy people, and you can't make everyone happy.
Yeah.
And I've learned this.
That is correct. Sí, dice que en cuanto a ideas, le decía yo, ¿por qué no nosotros como países latinoamericanos, como mexicanos, estamos muy orientados hacia la familia? Entonces, la mayoría de los diseños de Nora tienen esta visión feminista, por eso la creación de muchas reinas, mujeres, damas. Entonces, le digo, bueno, mejor algo orientado a la familia, que no sea solo un hombre o solo una mujer, sino familia. Y me dice que, bueno, que le parece interesante la idea, pero me comentó que muchas veces le llegan comentarios de que no les gusta determinado color, o ella hace un diseño para tratar de darle gusto a alguien y al final no le da gusto a nadie, entonces que prefiere ella hacer lo que le inspira. Yeah. Are you reading?
This is crazy. I can't believe this. This is amazing.
No.
I need to get on Flosstube more, but I watched some Flosstube. I kind of lurk in the different groups and I see what's going on, you know, so, but I don't really, this is the first thing I've done where I've actually talked to stitchers in 2 years since COVID.
Yeah, it's our little virtual retreat.
I haven't done any retreats or anything. This is the first time I've talked to stitchers like in 2 years.
Yeah.
Because COVID.
That's amazing.
They ruined my Australian trips.
Yeah, also ruined my Mexican retreat. I couldn't do it this year.
Well,
you know,
if you do one, I'll come see you.
O sea, acaba de decir, Nora acaba de decir que cuando hagamos el encuentro mexicano que ella va a venir.
If you do one, I will come. I love to travel.
Yeah, it will be amazing. We need to make it happen.
That would be great. That would be so great. I love it. It inspires me. If I sit in the same room, I get like burnout. Sometimes I just sit at my desk and nothing's happening, and I feel like I have to go out, put something in to put something out. Like,
and that's something that we live in our first Mexican retreat. We were like 40, 45 teachers, and we start in this hotel, really nice hotel, and the room, and the moment you get inside the room and see the other ladies who were teachers like you feel that connection and that electricity, and
it's amazing. Being a retreat where everybody and they all become friends. And I'm just like, what is it about me? And like we have like in Australia, we have like a crazy table.
Yeah,
they are. And but like everybody becomes friends, and I'm just like, this is great, but really weird. Great.
Sí, dice que en los encuentros que ella ha participado por ejemplo, en el de Australia, que la gente pues se hace toda amiga y están siendo amigos y están inspirados por los diseños de Mirabilia, y le digo que eso nos pasó en el primer encuentro, cuando llegamos al salón y nos vimos las caras, o sea, hubo esa conexión instantánea. And yeah, that's amazing. And talking about, the social media and YouTube, it's a tricky part because
I'm on TikTok.
Okay.
Nobody knows I'm on TikTok. I'm on TikTok. In fact, there's a bunch of cross-stitch stuff that like is designed and I did it, and nobody follows me.
No, please, I'm going to announce your TikTok. Everybody follow Nora. Sí, dice que tiene un TikTok.
I'm really starting to get sad about it.
Que la sigamos. But it's a tricky subject because we start, at least in my case, I started like 5 years ago with the YouTube channel, but it was that idea to share my journey as a teacher. At the end of the day, I made the videos for me, like to have these memories of the things that I am teaching. If people like it, it's okay, but I do it for me. So you have to have that focus of that goal. What do you want to do with your channel or with your Instagram?
I did my TikTok for me, and I'm the only person who's seen it, so it really is just for me.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and at the beginning, I started, sharing my love for cross stitch, and a lot of people start to write me about how they used to stitch, or they
Yes.
and I start again to stitch, and that was wonderful.
Or their grandmother, they stitched with their grandmother, or they, someone taught them when they were really, really young. Like
Yeah.
I stitched when I was really, really young, and then it's something that kind of comes back to you, and no, it's cool. I'm so happy.
Sí. Dice Nora que tiene, le digo, su canal de TikTok, pero le digo que esto de las redes sociales para nosotros ha sido una herramienta muy buena, pero tiene estas dos facetas, ¿no? No todo es así tan bonito, y al final lo importante es saber por qué hacemos, por ejemplo, un canal de YouTube o una página de Instagram. En mi caso le comento, bueno, yo lo hago para compartir este trayecto, estas aventuras que tengo con el punto de cruz y tratar de promoverlo. Y dice ella que también es eso, ¿no? Yo hago mi TikTok para mí.
I remember my good friend Kevin. It's water.
Oh yeah, no, I'm drinking.
I'm drinking water.
I'm drinking a mojito because I need the color.
Oh, see, he tells the truth. It's the only. Yeah, it's water. It might have other stuff in it, but who knows?
Yeah, and also again with this influence of social media, we have your patterns. Here in Mexico or in Latin America, we have to make this international, shipping, and it's all this extra cost, and sometimes it's really hard. But as you mentioned at the beginning, the distribution it's from Wichel is not something that you control or take many decisions about. But we start to see this migration to some of the designers to sell PDFs to different things, and perhaps it's for the e-commerce start to find this common ground between the clients and the designers.
I would love to do PDF, but I've seen and I've had friends who go to PDF, and it's just so easy to share it with someone, and I mean, so much of Mirabilia is about an experience that when you have the pattern and the description, and it's all
doubly envelope.
Yeah, that was what I wanted in the beginning, like when I designed it 27 years ago. And I remember when we did it, I was like, oh, these are gonna be in my basement forever, reminding me what a loser I am. And then it was just like, I couldn't believe it. It was crazy. How?
Le comento a Nora que en esta, precisamente hablando de redes sociales y de comercio electrónico, hay muchos diseñadores que han empezado a migrar hacia archivos PDF y a venderlos, pero ahorita en su caso, Wichel es quien hace la distribución, y bueno, ellos son los que toman decisiones en esto, y que les da todavía mucho miedo la piratería y la facilidad que da el compartir archivos PDF, ¿no? Entonces que ahorita, digo, finalmente no es una decisión de Nora, pero que ellos están tomando ese camino, ¿no? Del gráfico tradicional, porque consideran Nora que es también una experiencia el tener estos gráficos, estos sobres, o sea, representan algo como bordador, ¿no? And we have a lot of especially in the Latin American and in Spain, a lot of kids from China, and with your design, and is this problem, and even a teacher asked me, there is a legal copy, because they are selling this and they are not legal.
I can't control what happens in other countries. You can't go after them, but people just need to know that I'm an artist, and I do get a percentage. I am getting paid. The artist is every time you buy from Wichel or a store, through them.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm very grateful that this is my job, and that I was able to do this. I would not be able to do it if so many people didn't believe in it and help me by buying the actual pattern.
Yeah.
So that it just keeps me going,
Yeah.
you know.
Sí, comenta que, porque le dije, bueno, hablando de esta piratería o de todo este problema que vemos de los kits chinos, y dice, porque veía algún comentario que si ella tenía autorizado que vendieran estas copias, y dice que no, que finalmente ella lo único que tiene autorizado es a Wichel de sus gráficos, y que esa es su manera de vida. O sea, eso es lo que ella le permite, pues es su salario, es como si alguien atentara con nuestro trabajo, igual en este caso. Pero dice, yo no puedo controlar lo que sucede en otros países, pero pues si no recibo el apoyo y mis gráficos están en copias ilegales, pues se acaba mi fuente de ingresos y no puedo seguir trabajando en eso, ¿no? It's so difficult, this situation, and we try to at least in my case, you know, to make it clear.
You're supporting the artist.
Yeah,
you know,
support the artist.
I'm just an artist, and I'm making a living with my art, which is crazy and so great. And I want to keep doing it. And if these people, it's just, I can't even believe when I see it. I just, it's so much work goes into one of those patterns. Like, and when they just take it, it's strange. Like, I don't like go and take things off a shelf, you know, like it's just a strange thing, but yeah. I don't know.
It's and we dedicate so many hours and so many love to the projects that we stitch. We have to support the artists, you know. We have the pattern. It's only a fraction of the cost because we spend sometimes hundreds of hours stitching a project, and without this the artist, we won't have any project to stitch.
That's the thing, like yeah, I mean, people were like, they just steal it, and I'm like, well, design your own pattern.
Yeah.
It's like, go ahead, you do your own, and they can't, and that's why I'm crazy, because it takes so long. It's like, to do them, you have to, I become obsessed with them and stuff anyway.
Sí, lo que dice Nora, nuevamente reitera, dice, es que finalmente es un acto ilegal, están robando mis diseños, esto es mi manera o sea, mi trabajo, ¿no? Entonces dice, es como si yo llegara a una tienda y me gusta una lámpara y la tomo y me la llevo, ¿no? Entonces dice, es esa misma tendencia. Entonces, si no apoyamos al diseñador, pues el diseñador va a dejar de crear sus gráficos, ¿no? And
so, I have some sketches. I was going to show you my sketchbook.
Yeah.
So here, this is like, there it is. So this is what is like, every design starts like
that.
Oh, like my sketchbook. And so they actually evolve, like, you know, just like drawing them, and then the personality comes out, and that's, you know.
Yeah, that's
sometimes I do the face, and then the rest, she tells me what the rest of, like, that's crazy. Like, I've sat down sometimes where it's just like, just draw the face, and then before I know it's done, like, this is the way she is.
Yeah.
And that's great. Sometimes it doesn't happen that way, and I have to agonize over it.
But that's great. That's great. And what do you see for your future, for your future designs, or it's something like the life will take you there?
So someone said, like, oh, aren't you done? I'm like, no, there's a million ideas I could do. Like, they're like, oh, aren't you like done? Like, didn't you just do everything? I'm like, no, like, I have a million. Every day I wake up, I can imagine something new, and if I'm not interested in designing it, then you're not going to be interested in stitching it. So I want to make sure that, like, it's something that keeps my attention, because if I'm bored designing it, you're going to be bored stitching it for sure. So that's one thing. But yeah, I don't know. I have so many ideas. I have I'm always doing the absolute best and the newest stuff. In fact, there's some new stuff coming out, and sometimes it's going to be controversial.
Yeah,
we
love controversial.
Okay, well, because I've got some stuff coming out. No lie.
Dice, nos mostraba ahorita su cuaderno de dibujo y cómo empieza un gráfico. Así empieza el gráfico. Y dice que muchas veces empieza con la cara y la cara le dice cómo va el resto de la figura, cómo va el resto del cuerpo, solamente con la cara. Entonces, y que le preguntaban también si no sentía que se le iba a acabar la inspiración, que ya no tenía ideas, y dice que ideas le sobran. O sea, ideas y inspiración hay en todos lados. So, that's great.
Yeah. So I work on the designs. They're a year in advance,
Yeah.
and you know, I forget what's coming out because, and then there's so many designs. People ask me a question about one, and I'm like, I don't remember. I can only tell you what I'm designing right now.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's just so much stuff, you know,
Yeah.
like they'll be like, well, do you remember when you did this and this and that? And why did, you know, and I'm like, no, there's so many. Like, I think I'm up to like, I don't know, how many Mirabilia, like 250 or something?
You know.
Actually, I know.
Your first Mirabilia was on 1997.
So I have
1993. So it's going to be 30 years next year because Damask.
Damask Roses, was that?
Yeah, was.
Oh my gosh. I remember doing that and I thought I only did it, like my therapist was like, you should design cross stitch. And I'm like, no, I could never do that. And every time she was just like, did you work on it? I'm like, all right. Like I just did it. And I didn't ever think that anybody else would like it. But I knew that, you know, I went to art school and I knew I wasn't seeing anything I wanted to stitch. So that was a key. Like I wanted to do things that I want to cross stitch. You have to fall in love with it to stitch it. You can't just be like, oh, I like it. No, you have to like love it and like to bring it into, or else you just don't want to do it.
Yeah. Estábamos comentando ahorita que, perdón porque me quedo un poquito en la conversación y no traduzco todo, pero estábamos comentando que su primera Mirabilia fue en 1993 con Damask Rose. O sea que ella va a cumplir 30 años y realmente es esta inspiración, ¿no? O sea, a ella le sigue moviendo lo que está haciendo y también comentaba un poquito de los trabajos que está haciendo actualmente, pues van a estar lanzados dentro de un año o año y medio, entonces dice que muchas veces los lanzamientos, por ejemplo, de este mes o del mes que entra, pues ya no se acuerda, porque cuando los dibujó y hizo el gráfico fue hace más de un año, entonces dice ya, yo lo que estoy enfocada es lo que estoy haciendo ahorita, que va a salir para nosotros en año y medio. So that same experience happened to me. I started a Mirabilia and I enjoyed it, and after, you know, if I finish, you know, the full project in 3 weeks or in a month, I love it, and then I forget it about it, and I start to fall in love with the next one. And it's,
so do you have that thing where whenever you see it, it reminds you of what you were going through at that time in your life? That is so crazy. I look at my drawings and I'm like, I'm like, oh, I was sitting at the beach. You know, like it's like a diary in some strange way, and whatever you were going through. So like recently, I'm doing another set of mermaids. I mean, don't tell anybody because it's a secret. And I did a bunch that were really happy, and then I found out a really good friend of mine has cancer, and I was so sad. And so the mermaids are starting to look sad, and I can't help it. I'm just like, it's just coming out that way. So I have to turn that around. But it's whatever you're feeling comes out in it.
Yeah, we create this emotional connection. I remember one of the first, you know, Fairy Moon or Titania. And, you know, many years ago, and my kids were really, really young, and I was stitching at night, and when I saw that, it reminded me that time.
Oh my gosh, like the baby designs I did, the little stitches, they're my son. The one with the castle, the sand castle.
Yeah. Yes.
The boy is my son Ian. Like that's where I was, and the babies and stuff, and I don't know, maybe I need to fall in love again so I can do another the kid.
Yeah.
That's I need to fall in love again. So
Yeah,
I'll work on that.
We're going to make a program.
That was so hard to do because I wanted and I did it, and I'm really happy. But the kiss was like, I didn't want it to look like a cartoon. I wanted it to look classic and cool, but it so easily could have become not good. Do you know what I mean? Like, hey, we're two people kissing each other. Like it just didn't. It was just really. It's hard to fashion them into an image that like that gets that feeling, because it can look like a cartoon so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dice, comentábamos ahorita con Nora que todas estas piezas que bordamos, y también le pasa a ella con las piezas que pinta, que traen recuerdos del tiempo en las que las hizo. Y le decía yo que, por ejemplo, los primeros Mirabilias que bordé, donde mis hijos estaban muy chiquitos, los veo y me traen esos recuerdos. Entonces tenemos esa conexión emocional con nuestras piezas, tanto de bordado como de pintura. Y decía ella que uno de sus diseños, el de los niños en el castillo de arena, dice, pues era mi hijo, entonces me acuerdo de esa escena, ¿no? Con su familia. Y dice que, por ejemplo, el diseño del beso, dice, necesito volver a enamorarme para hacer un diseño así de romántico. Entonces le digo que sí, necesitamos conseguir una pareja maravillosa para Nora. We need to find you, a partner for you to get.
Okay, so Lainey, I know her. What was happening in my life when I was designing Shakespeare's fairies?
Yeah.
They look so happy. Okay, so Shakespeare's fairies, I will tell you. Yes. Okay, so I designed it a really long time ago, and then that was one where I just threw it in a drawer and it wasn't working. And then I pulled it up again and I threw it in the drawer. And I reworked it so many times, and that was one that like I sort of kept going back to. It took a really long time to do them. Like it was, I just wanted them to work, and yeah, they took a long time. So, yeah, they're happy. Yeah, you can tell when I'm happy.
Yeah. What about this?
Okay, so the tea, Earl Grey tea. Oh, I love tea.
Yeah.
And the moon.
This design, it's like an illustration. I mean, it's not cartoonish or anything like that, but it's like
I love the old illustrations from books and stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I was, I start a new project. I usually always I stitch a lot of designers, but I always have a Mirabilia. And I start the Tree of Hope.
I know where I was when I designed that.
Yeah,
I know exactly what I was doing. I know I've moved around a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny how we are talking about the skin color, or the materials. We personalize that project that we have, and it's part of the things that we are feeling, the things that are happening around us. So
it's like not passion.
Yeah,
it's passion. Mm-hmm. I feel like you have to fall in love with a design to wanna make it.
Yeah,
I feel like you have to connect with it, or the feeling. Like someone told me once that Fairy Moon, she felt like that once in her life, where she was looking up the moon, and it was really beautiful. She was a stitcher in Australia, and she's like, I felt like that was me looking at the moon, and it was just so beautiful that she connected that way. Yeah, and then oh no, not the Fairy Moon, the other one. It's old. It's an old one. It might be out of print.
The Fairy Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have over there.
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
That's an early one.
Yeah.
So I might have to get going soon here.
Oh, don't worry. I have a great time. If you the opportunity to talk to you, and to
I'll meet with you again when I drink my water.
Yes.
And my friends harass me. It's been so awesome talking to you. I could talk forever, and I have to go to Mexico.
Yeah, you have
on my way to Australia when everything.
And we have to talk about cross stitch, and it's a passion as you're painting. It's a passion for us to make these little crosses, these playing with.
I know. It's like if you can sew on a button, you can make a little X. Yes. And that's the thing about like the small Nora Corbett. So I want people to know that like if you make a small one, you can make a big one. It's just
Yeah.
more the same. But
Yeah.
is there a size that's too big?
And you have more than 400 designs, you know, between Mirabilias and Nora's, and you're, you know, every month putting new designs. So it's wonderful. You are inviting us to this magical work, and we can transform, and we can use, you know, cheap materials, like in my case, that I go for a local flosses and fabric. And
when you weave it together with your hand,
yeah,
there's something very like beautiful about that. Like I think craft is going to be, when they look back, you know, people are like, that's not art. It really is art. It's the real art, crafting, when people make things with their hands. I think it's beautiful.
Pues se está despidiendo Nora. Nuevamente les digo una disculpa, pero por no traducir todo, pero no quería hacer como interrupción. Y me comenta que, bueno, estos diseños que nosotros como bordadores, al estar haciendo estas cruces, hacía ella la referencia, si puedes coser un botón, puedes hacer una cruz. Estamos creando arte, o sea, también somos artistas. Ella nos considera como artistas, y les digo que finalmente es una cuestión personal. Lo he dicho muchas veces, lo reitero aquí. Podemos estar haciendo bordados con materiales que tenemos a la mano, no importa, con materiales, con tela barata, como en mi caso, hilos, y la cosa es estar creando cruces, estar disfrutando el proceso, y estamos haciendo arte. Thank you so much, Nora.
Oh my gosh, I am so grateful for you. Thank you so much. You brought me out of my hiding.
Yeah. And this, you know, often,
I like hide.
And we can talk, and, you know, having a proper, you know, question session with all these beautiful stitchers who love you so much.
Yes.
They have a
I
lot
love
of
stitchers.
questions.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
I'm gonna go.
Thank you for being here. Me dio mucho gusto haber tenido a Nora aquí con nosotros. Fue una experiencia maravillosa. Pude controlar un poquito mi emoción, pero me dio mucho gusto compartir con ustedes esta visita y esta experiencia y este punto de vista de ella como diseñadora. Thank you very much for being here, for share with me this joy of knowing Nora, and to talk with her, and knowing this point of view as a designer. And it feels a little bit like she doesn't really realize of the impact that she had in our stitching. But yeah, I hope we can repeat this experience. Espero que esta experiencia se pueda repetir. Les digo que se me hace un poquito como que Nora no alcanza a ver todo el impacto que tiene en este mundo bordadil, y me da mucho gusto que me hayan acompañado. Me voy a bordar. Tengo que continuar con esta labor que me gusta mucho y que nos permite crear estos canales de comunicación y unirnos a través de estas herramientas como son las redes sociales, compartiendo esto que sabemos desde años, estos bordados que nos dan esta alegría, que podemos hacer como queramos, pero que nos están permitiendo continuar como comunidad y sobre todo dejar como legado para generaciones futuras. Thank you again for being here with me. I'm going to continue stitching and sharing this love for cross-stitch and for my community. It's so exciting to be here with you, and yeah, I'm so sorry, but there are a lot of emotions, so thank you so much. Gracias a todos y nos vemos en la siguiente. Bye bye.